Hey. All right. Now, welcome back from the desk of low. Now, they say dreams can really come true, and this happens to be one of them right now. I remember the very first time I heard this gentleman that you can see in front of me right now was on the Best in the Word series. I remember on Def Sounds that he was always on the blogs, always on the blogs. I'm like, this Jon Connor guy may be nice right now. I kind of gave away the guess right now, too. But the point is, though, this gentleman right now, listened to him for years right now. So for him to actually be looking at me right now, kind of still messes me up. So without further introductions, Fly City's finest, Jon Connor.
Man, what's up, man? It's a pleasure, and thank you for having me, and thank you for that wonderful introduction, man.
Man, I gotta give it up to you, man. So how you doing in these crazy times, Jon Connor?
Music is keeping me in a positive space, just staying super, super creative, and that's keeping me focused. And anything I can do to help people stay in a positive space, man, it always makes me feel better. So I've been doing a lot of lives on my Instagram and on my Facebook, and then dropping the project SOS, and then staying in the studio and cooking up, man. Just trying to do all I can to give people an outlet to kind of stay positive. So it makes me feel good to keep other people in a positive space.
I noticed that you've been doing a lot of live interviews right now that you're actually asking the questions.
Yeah, man. Yeah, it's been fun, man. I've become a bit of a journalist, man. It's really cool. It's really cool, man.
Do you enjoy it? Do you enjoy being on the other side, like asking the questions? Because usually because right now I'm asking you the questions, so it must be kind of different. You asking the questions.
Yeah, I actually do enjoy it, man. I've always loved every facet of the entertainment business. I grew up studying late night talk shows. I love just watching old Johnny Carson interviews and old classic, Conan O'Brien and Jay Leno and David Letterman and all of that. And I love the back and forth dynamic of just the interview, platform. So it's like, I love it, man. It's cool. And I enjoy like what Noriega does on Drink Champs. Yeah.
That Tiger Bone.
Yeah, man, and seeing like Joe Budden transition into doing podcasts and just seeing a lot of hip hop artists, open up and do that is really, really cool. Because, like I said, I've always been a fan of the genre of just back and forth talk and just the juxtaposition, man, of the late night talk show. So it's been cool, man.
Man, that's awesome to hear. Because, like, even with you, like, being an artist yourself, too, it must be easier for the artist to actually open up to you now, too. Because, like, oh, he gets me now because he makes music, too. Instead of, like, a journalist who, like, knows nothing about making a song.
Absolutely, man. Yeah, I think that that is the cool thing about it because they know it's coming from a different perspective. I mean, being an artist, sometimes you do interviews with people and they kind of prodding for information. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, like they bombard you with the wrong questions. It's like, tell me who this is or tell me who you were around. It's like, no.
Exactly, and with me or when you're talking to another artist, it's like just a casual conversation, and like you said, you feel more comfortable because it doesn't feel like you're being attacked or smothered. You know that the questioning is coming from a genuine place.
Yes, and because like they actually want to know from a fan's perspective too. Now, is it true? Because like I've been a fan of you for a long time now too.
Thank you.
You're most welcome. So, is it true that you went by Do So before?
That's a fact. Growing up in the hood, everybody got their nickname. So, I'm a junior. I'm Jan Kevin Freeman Jr. So, Deuce means two. So, growing up, they always would call me Deuce or Deucey or Do So.
Okay.
So, my first rap name, was Do So.
Oh wow! So and then for most people now, they ask you like, well, how did you come up with the name Jon Connor? Well, I understand that you watched the two Terminator movies back to back, and you understood the significance of a Jon Connor. The character Jon Connor too is like, wow, like he is being searched for. So it kind of led me back to your first project, like The Call-In. Like, did you record that in Civic Herd?
I recorded The Calling in Winter Park, Florida, because this was like immediately after this was immediately after my days at Full Sail. Big shout out to Full Sail University in Winter Park, Florida.
Okay, wow, Florida.
Yeah, I went to Full Sail in 2003. And after that, I didn't graduate from Full Sail because my little cousin passed away in the middle of the school year. So I had went back home, got my mind right, and I liked Orlando Winter Park so much that I moved back. So that's where I recorded The Call, and it was a beautiful experience. And that's where I met, my brothers E. Rude and K. Wills, who co-produced The Call in Part 1. And man, we made that album in a 1-bedroom apartment. We had the booth was my man Rude's closet, and me and my man K. Wills, we had our bed set up in the living room, and that's how we did it, man. We was grinding. It was all for the love of the music, man.
Wow, just to hear like the inspirational story, like how you come from like recording in a 1-bed. You recorded that album in a closet, and I ain't gonna lie, Mr. Connor, I was listening to that album since January because I was like, oh, Jon Connor's coming, so let me revisit his discography. And that album aged wonderfully. Like, you gave us 20 tracks of fire. Like, most days, we're used to getting like 9, 10 tracks. This is 20 tracks of fire. You don't skip one.
Yeah, because I came up in the era where, I was a big fan of No Limit. And No Limit would give you like 20, 21, 22, 23 records on an album. And I just believe in giving people the more for their money. You know what I mean? I think that it's a privilege to be able to, have people spend their hard-earned money on something that I would do for free. So it's like, man, I always wanted to make sure I give people the most for their money, because you could spend that money on something else and you choosing to spend it on my art. So I just want to make sure I give people the most for their money, man.
I love how you said art now too, because it's art at the end of the day now too, when you have like that personal connection to it now too, because it hits you a different way now too. It's like, wow, that's definitely what art does.
Yes, absolutely.
I like how you brought up Master P now too, because I understand he was a big influence on you, like the No Limit days now too. Now, for somebody who's been a fan from you for a long time, is it true that the first beat that you ever rhymed to was Montel Jordan's Let's Ride with Master P and Slick the Shocker? I almost forgot it.
That's a fact. That's a fact, man. Yep, man. Montel featuring Master P and Silk the Shocker, Let's Ride. That was the very first beat I ever rapped to. That and No Limit Soldiers by Master P. Those were the first two beats I ever rapped to.
Were these recorded or were just off the top of the head?
No, we recorded it. It was on a tape. Matter of fact, I found some of my old tapes the other day, and I was just listening to them, and they are hilarious, bro. Like, what I'm saying?
Just to see the growth, it's like, wow, I came so long from this.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's like, I can't believe I used to perform these songs at talent shows. Like, oh my God, it was pretty bad, but I'm grateful for growth, man.
Yeah, because like as an artist now, too, growth is one of the most powerful things that you can go through as an artist. Like your journey now too. Now I understand that you were documenting like your life story since like high school. Like you always had a video camera. So I was from a fan. I was curious, like what inspired you to like document your life frequently?
Because, even as a kid, man, I always believed in myself. You know what I'm saying?
You should, yes, sir.
I always believed that, one day people are going to watch this and I should be documenting this. Because, back in the day when I was in high school, that's when you had shows like Driven on MTV. You know what I mean?
That. Yes, sir.
Or VH1's Behind the Music.
Oh,
so
I wish they would bring that back.
Yes, man. So back then I used to be like, one day I'm going to be on Behind the Music. One day I'm going to be on Driven. So I'm like, I got to tape everything so we can have footage. And this is the way that I was thinking back then. So my whole life I've always made sure I had a camera rolling. And now we have just an abundance of footage. And it's going to be so much content. We got the Road to Legendary documentary coming out. But also, we're going to re-release a lot of my underground tapes. We're going to re-release the Callin' 1, the Callin' 2, While You Were Sleeping in Season 2 on the streaming platform.
Okay.
So when that starts to happen, we're going to start releasing little mini docs about each project that shows the creation process of those projects. So we just going to put all of that footage to use now, man, so people can see my whole journey, man.
Yeah, because they say like time is everything now too, and we waited and waited and waited and waited for your return now too, and like 2020, you came back, so it just like, and it's wonderful to hear that you're putting out this docu-series like with all your old footage, because I bet you get a ton of DMs like, Jon Connor, like, when do you come back? Like, oh, when are you gonna talk about your old things too? Like, I bet you get a ton of questions about your old, like, what you used to with your old label now too. Because like most of your interviews I watch now too, they bring up that now too, and it's like there's more to Jon Connor than just Aftermath. Like, there's a whole story behind Jon Connor, like the Salvation. I love that record now too, just like how you made now too with 50 Cent's producer. He produced What Up Gangster.
Yeah, Reed.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Yep, absolutely, man. You know, you 100% right, man. And I want to give that to the people. You know what I mean? Because it's some, the way I look at things is, man, I never assume that the world knows who I am or knows my story. It's like with every project, you're building your awareness to new people every day. You know, it's some people that knew me from the underground years. It's some people that got turned on to me from the Best in the World series. It's some people that got turned on to me through Compton, Dre's album. It's some people that just got turned on to me from SOS. So it's like you never stop having new fans or new supporters. I don't really like that word, fans. So new supporters. So it's like I'm so happy that I got that footage and that we got these documentaries. So it's like now I can tell people the story, and now for the people that are just coming aboard, maybe it'll make them want to go back and research and be like, oh shit, he's got this plethora of old material, and then he's coming back with all this new material. So it's really cool to be able to put that out. And I don't mind people asking those questions because, like I said, you never know when somebody tuned into your story. So it's like I'm an open book. I have very thick skin, and I'm not ashamed of, or I don't get agitated to talk about any part of my life journey, because if people are interested in me and my journey and my art, man, that is a gift, and I am honored that people even give a shit to even know about me like that, man.
Where you live the life that most can only dream of now too, but like what makes it even better now too is that you put your heart and soul into your music, that people have a connection, like, oh, I really been through that. Like, I really done with like those jobs where I felt like I wasn't going anywhere, and then the one day decided to quit and tell everyone off like the 2 weeks notice. I love that track.
Thank you. Thank you.
And
I'm playing. Don't quit this job from the day y'all hired me. I be talking shit. I don't give a fuck. I can't wait till the day y'all fire me.
Yes. Yeah. And see, that this was recorded in 2013. So you said, like in most of your interviews now too, that you come from a family of music now too. Your mother and father were deep into music now too. So you are one of those artists who really embraced their destiny. Like, like Jon Connor was here to do music. So with you embracing your destiny and knowing why you're put here, when did you discover, like, I want to do this? Like, was it the time that you memorized MC Breed's Ain't No Future If You're Frontin'?
You know what? It wasn't then, but thank you so much for just the research that you've done on me, man. Thank you, because just let you know, as an artist, man, it's always dope, and it makes you feel good when people actually research, you know what I'm saying? And care about your story like that. But no, it wasn't then. Like, I was aware of hip hop when I was listening to MC Breed and Dayton Family and all of the old the pioneer and Flint artists. But when I actually decided that I wanted to do it was when I started listening to No Limit. Like, that was what made me want to rap. It's like I was always a music dude because my father plays the guitar, yes, you know what I'm saying, and the drums and the keyboard, and my mother's a writer. So it's like I always grew up around music, and I loved soul music. I loved house and techno music. I loved alternative rock music. So it was like for a long time, it was like I fucked with hip hop, but it was like I didn't think I could do hip hop. Like, you know what I'm saying? For a long time. But when I heard No Limit, it was like, I think I can do this. Like, it was something that triggered inside me that made me want to express myself through the art. I knew I wanted to make music. I just didn't know how I would express myself through music. And when I heard No Limit and Master P, it was like, okay, this is something, I could do this.
Yeah, because they had one hell of a wave now too, and for you to actually, because like I wasn't like in tune with music back then now too, so you actually got to experience like that whole No Limit wave when you were releasing album after album, and so I understand like Mac was one of your big influences. Yeah, you got influenced by a lot of music now too, but you once said Mac was one of your influences now too. I was like, yo, he knows Mac? Like the Shell Shock? I love that album.
Yes, man. Yes, Mac is one of my favorite MCs of all time. Not just like my favorite No Limit MC, but Mac is one of my favorite MCs of all time. You know what I mean? Like
Very underrated.
very underrated.
Very.
Like he was nice. Mac was so nice and absolutely like Mac Fiend. You know what I'm saying?
Wow, Fiend is one in every family. I forgot about that album. You take me back.
Classic album, and Fiend Street Life was a classic album too. And Mac's World War III album was crazy too.
Yes.
So
that was the last one I think he released on No Limit.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely.
So, from a fan perspective, have you ever met Mac?
No, but you know what? I was gonna ask. I'm really close with KLC from Beats by the Pound. I was gonna ask what his information is because I wanted to write him because he's currently incarcerated.
Yeah.
Free Mac, by the way. But I definitely wanted to write him and just give him my gratitude.
Yeah, because I'm pretty sure, like, if you have a contact with him and and if he actually can do the research on you, he'd be like, wow, like, he is inspired by me after all these years, because, like, you just never know, like, somebody who will go back and re-listen to those albums now, too. It's like, this came out in 1996?
Right, yeah, right. Absolutely.
So, being a fan of No Limit now, too, and you're from Flint, Michigan now, too, MC Breed must have been, like, one hell of an inspiration to you. Even, like, collaborating with Tupac now, too, because I understand, like, Tupac, Biggie, you name like some of the greats as your influences now, and the ones that are still with us even acknowledge you now too. So you're an Aries like me. So can you remember the very, very first time like somebody gave you recognition, like somebody like that had recognition where you said, Jon Connor is dope?
Yes, Busta Rhymes.
Busta Rhymes, wow.
That was the first time that a legend like was like, yo, you nice. And it was like, yo, I was, man, so humbled. I think the footage is actually out there in the world somewhere, but it was like when I was just coming in the game, I had just started taking trips to New York and going and doing radio and that type of stuff. And Busta Rhymes was at the radio station, coincidentally, and he heard one of the records I was pushing at the time, and he just was like, yo, you nice. And what's so cool about that is, you know, in the time since then that I've crossed paths with Busta, he's always been super just supportive and always gave me words of encouragement every time he sees me, man. So shouts to Busta Rhymes, man.
Wow, that's one hell of a cosign for the first time now too. And you must, because like you're one of those artists who's like really grateful for an artist to remember you now too. I remember you shared a story like the time that Game was around too. Like, I remember you, Jon Connor. I was like, wow. I was like, you remember me? Jeez.
Yes, absolutely, man. That's crazy that you know that you remember that story. Yep. I met Game in Flint, and he was doing radio promo, and then we crossed paths again when I got signed to Aftermath, and he was in Dre's studio, and I kind of like reintroduced myself because you never know, you know, if somebody remembers you or not.
Yeah.
And he was like, yeah, I remember you. I met you in Flint, and it was just really, really cool. Shouts to Game too. Always a good dude, man.
Wow. And you ended up collaborating with him now too on his documentary 2.5 Moment of Violence, I believe. I love that, right? I'm a fan, so I followed your career since like I found you now too, because like when you're a fan of an artist now too, you want to hear what they have to hear outside of the music now too. So I understand you produced a majority of SOS now too.
Yes.
But I understand that Jon Connor is also a producer way before this, like for hints while you were sleeping.
Yes.
So when did Jon Connor catch the producer bug? Like when did he like decide to like, wow, I can actually make beats that I can rhyme over too? Because that's very rare.
Well, man, the funny thing about it is I was a producer before I was a rapper. You
really?
know, when I was in high school, I was do so that made beats. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's how people knew me. Like, you know what I'm saying? It wasn't that I wasn't some super lyricist.
See, I'm over here thinking Do-So was a super lyricist right there. I never knew Do-So was a producer. Wow.
No, I was a producer. I was a producer first. And the reason why I started rapping was because I started my own thing back in high school, and I couldn't find anybody that was serious enough to, you know, build my crew around. So I had to become a rapper, and I started rapping on my own beats. So that's what happened. So then later on in life, I had to like start, you know, really taking the craft seriously. The more people started believing in me, because it's like, okay, I have to take this rap thing seriously as far as lyrically. You know, I have to really put my all into it, because now, you know, I'm being judged as an MC now.
Yeah.
But I started off a producer, and that's why it's so cool that I'm kind of evolving back into what I always started off as. Now that co-CEO of my own company, Varsity Music Group, with my brother Mateen Cleaves, it's like I'm the head producer here, and it's like that's what I always wanted to be. That's always been what I wanted to do, and it's really cool to just now be working with younger artists and producing my whole project. It's crazy. Like I'm so excited for my artist Ace Cabana's album that's dropping. I believe we're gonna put it out in September, and it's just like it's my first time producing an entire project that wasn't my own. So it's just really cool to be able to start taking those steps as well, man.
So, like, even, like, for an artist like an Ace Cabana, because you've been rocking for Ace Cabana for a long time, but for him to, like, say, Jon Connor, I want to give you complete, like, control of my beats and control of my project and how we do this now, too, must be, like, a wonderful feeling, because, like, I've been wanting to do, you've been a CEO of your company since you were 14?
14, man, 14, 15. I relinquished, during my time at Aftermath, it was cool because it allowed me to, learn under Dre, and soak up information and knowledge and kind of watch him in the studio. And, just like I always tell people, Aftermath was like college for me. So now to take that information and be able to put it into my own company and my own production and just whatever God-given talents I already had along with what I learned over there, man, it's a beautiful thing. It's about to be a fun time, man.
I like how you said now too, like it was like college for you now too, because when you come out of that, you have so much knowledge. Because you really went through artist development over there now too. We watched it.
Absolutely.
Not everything behind the scenes, but you understand what I get.
Absolutely.
Now, season 1, Vincent Chase now too. Now I have to ask, like, I love Entourage, like, so I have to ask, like, when was the first time you ever seen this series?
Yo, I was on Entourage from the very beginning.
Really? Okay. Wow, season 1.
Yes, I was on Entourage from the beginning. I loved Entourage. I felt like Entourage was the most accurate depiction at that time of show business. I felt like it showed how it really is. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, really, of course, Vincent Chase was an actor, and me being a musician, those two worlds, people think they're probably worlds apart, but they're not. Like,
they're very similar.
Very similar, man. So I found a lot of connections between myself and that character because, it was actually showing how shit really goes in show business, man.
That's how just like the glamour inside like that too. It actually shows like what he had to deal with, like his manager and things like that now too, or like like they say, label politics.
Absolutely, man.
I bet you, like, when you go back and like rewatch that series now too, it's like, yo, like that's actually how it is.
Yeah, I remember when I was watching it, in the later seasons, because that's when I started like really moving around and traveling a lot. That's what made me name that first season 1 Jon Connor as Vincent Chase, because I felt like I was living it at that time. Like, damn, like it's exactly like Entourage.
And see, like, I love when an artist like you gets inspired by like a series like that, and puts it in his music now too. Because when you go back and listen to it now, it's like that was a moment in your life.
Yes. Yep. Absolutely.
So when you listen to your old music, does it take you back to that time?
I rarely listen to my old music.
So it's like a rarity for you to actually go back and like be like, I'm gonna just play this.
Yeah, because it's kind of like hearing a outdated version of my thoughts.
Okay.
Like, you know what I'm saying? So when I listen to my old music, it's like, I think all of my albums, they're a time capsule of the way I think and the way I feel and where I'm at emotionally at that time, So it's like to listen back to them, it's almost like, oh, I can't believe I used to think like that, or I would have never said that now, or I wish I would have did that. So it's like I just leave those albums where they are, and I let them be what they're supposed to be for who they're supposed to be for, and I just focus on the next one. Like, as soon as I was done with SOS 1, I immediately start thinking about Ace Cabana and SOS 2. So as soon as I seen, and not to get too long-winded with the answer, but
no.
I think it was the director Joel Schumacher who said after you're done creating the art and you give it to the public, it's not yours anymore. Your emotional attachment to that project only is as long as you're working on it. Because after you work on it, now it's the people's. And now it belongs to the people. It's how it made them feel. It's your song meant this to them while they were doing this. So it's not about what I feel anymore. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's only about what I feel while I'm creating it. After I'm done and after it's out, it belongs to the people. So now I have to go chase that feeling again, and the only way to do that is to start making another project.
So it must feel like amazing when you like put out a project and it gets well received every single time. There hasn't been one bad review of like, oh, Jon Connor album sucked. No, I've never seen that, not once. The entire time I was doing research on you, from the first time I found you until now, I've never seen anyone say Jon Connor sucks. So like that's amazing to hear, because we live in an age where it's a lot of microwave music now too. But you even said now too in one of your Best in the World series now too, the Kanye West one now too. I just want to pull it up now too. When you said, I just want y'all to feel me just like how y'all feel me when I used to be listening to Biggie, Tupac, Timbaland, Missy, or Weezy, or mixtape 50, a fucking DMX with some production of Swizzy. Like, you actually, I couldn't be a rapper, so my bad if I messed that up.
No, it's okay.
But how does it feel for you to have like a mixtape discography that hits like a Lil Wayne or 50 Cent?
I think it's cool. I've never really slowed down enough to internalize it like that, because I'm still such a fan of those people that I named in those songs and that you just named. So it's like I feel humbled and honored that you would say that my mixtapes, you know what I'm saying, hit people like that, because like I said, man, I don't know. I'm just creating it.
Yeah.
I don't know what it makes people feel. I hope that it gives them the same feeling that I used to get when I listened to those artists. So if it gave you that feeling, man, I'm honored, and thank you, man.
Every single one, from the time you released the Blue album to the People's Rapper to the Kanye West one and the Biggie series. I hope I said those in order.
Yeah, man. Yeah. I've been thinking about dropping some more Best in the World, because every time I ask people if they want them, they say yeah. So
yes.
I was thinking about it, but I don't know. Like I said, it's been a minute since I've dropped a mixtape, so it's like, I was asking people, where do mixtapes even live anymore? Like, where do you put a mixtape at now?
But see, like, you were, like, this is what I love about your name, Jon Connor, now too, because you were ahead of your time now too with these projects now too, because what you just said right there, remember these mixtape sites like DatPiff or My Mixtapes, these would be the sites you get to, but now we have the power to upload these on our phone straight up to these streaming sites where people can get them directly to their phone instead of hooking their phones up to their computer, or like hooking these little iPods up to the computer.
Right, that's real. Well, shit. Well, hey, y'all about to get a couple more. I got a couple Best in the Worlds in the chamber. I just did them in my spare time, man. Like I just felt like doing them, and then I'm gonna give them to y'all, man. So it might actually come sooner than you think, man.
Okay. See, like, one of my, and you don't have to answer it now too. I like the element of surprise now too. But I've always wondered, will you do a Nas one? So just to hear like that you have like some in the tuck now too. I was like, okay, I'm definitely ready now too. So
yeah, no, they exist, man, and like I said, it's cool. It's cool being the CEO of your own company, because now you can just I could drop shit when I want to. So if y'all want it, I could give it to y'all, man.
So all of Varsity Music, you stuck with most artists now too, when they go through transitions in their career now too, they has to switch the label name. But you always stuck with AVM Music for as long as I can remember. You AVM. What made you come up with All Varsity Music? That had to start from somewhere.
Yeah, it's crazy. It started in high school. My first crew was the All Varsity Squad. So that's what that's the tattoo I got on my arm. It says A Squad. And that was all the way back. The very first name of my very first company was A Squad, and that stood for All Varsity Squad. So then it just kind of evolved. So then, it was All Varsity Music for a minute, and now the evolution of that is now we're All Varsity Music Group. So now it's AVMG, man.
Oh, okay, yeah, my bad, but it's still All Varsity, though, at the end.
Yeah, it's still All Varsity. And I always thought it was cool, too, because I had the name All Varsity, before I ever met my brother Mateen Cleaves, and it was just funny because he is a professional athlete. He played 7 years in the NBA, and then a national champion at Michigan State. So for him to be an athlete, and then the name of my company is All Varsity, it just was like the creator has divine purpose for everything, man.
Did you do an interview with him like at the very start of your career on like a Flint TV show? And they were like, "This is not a sports network, but we have Montel here." We're like, is that him that you're talking about?
Montaigne, yeah. I'm thinking, yeah, man, we did so many interviews back in the day, man.
Yeah, I remember you had the AVA chain now too, and he had the Detroit hat on now too.
Word, yeah.
Okay. Now, see, they say that for somebody to embrace their destiny and to find why they were put here now too is a very powerful thing for them to discover now too. Like, it's like with you in the music and me with this podcast now too. So from somebody who helped me a lot find my destiny just by a simple phone call, I have to ask you just so my guy can even watch this now 2 years from now. It's like, wow, he still remembers me. Tell me about Kid Vicious.
Kid Vicious, man, that's my dog. Yeah, that's my dog. That's my dog. Alien Gang all day. Man, super, super cool human being, man. Him and Royce the 5'9", them is my dogs. Them are my brothers. Like, I love those dudes. From day one, it's always been love. And we got so much respect for each other as artists. And anytime he call, I'm there. Anytime I call, he there. So that's my dog, man. Beautiful human being, man.
Man, I remember like the Midwest Killers track on a Sick Volume 3 mixtape now too. Class, I love that track now too. But like, I remember he said in one of my interviews, it still kind of messes me up that I can do these interviews now too and look back on them. He said that he called you before anybody else.
That's so cool. I'm humbled, man. That's awesome. That's my brother, man. Me and him definitely, we got super respect for each other's pen, man.
And he's even on SOS for everybody who's listening now too. We're for the Cypher. There's a lot of people on that track.
Yeah, man. Shouts to everybody that's on the Cypher, man. You got Afro, Ace Cabana, Terminology, Kid Vicious, Chris Webby, Daylight, and myself, man. So yeah, it's a super cool lineup of spitters, man.
Okay. Now I won't take up much of your time, Jon Connor, now too, because I understand you're a very busy man. For you completed SOS. How did you know it was done? Like, did you do it track by track and put it in that order? Or did you have to play around with the track list now, too? Because it's what I love about when an artist puts so much into their art now, too, like the creation process of it.
Well, with SOS, the funny thing about it is I was working on it, and I remember talking to my man Mike Brinkley. Shouts out to Mike Brinkley. And I was like, man, Mike, I want people to take my label serious. I want people to take this company seriously. I'm like, what can I do? And he like, you need to just start dropping music. You need to drop a project. So the funny thing is that the SOS that y'all hear was kind of like me being like, you know what? Like, okay, this is a collection of songs that I fuck with. You know what I'm saying? And I want to give people what they miss with a little bit of the direction of where I'm going. Yeah. So I feel like, and just for people to know, SOS is a 4-part series. So it's going to be SOS 1, 2, 3, and 4. So each one is going to sound different. Each one is going to express different points of view that I've had. So it's just going to be really, really cool. So with that, I thought that that collection of songs fully expressed what people might have missed who were already fans of me. Then it also touched on, like, just for anybody who was just hearing about me for the first time. And then also it was for the fans who've been around to show them, like, where we going to go in the future. So that was my purpose for SOS 1, and I think it established it, man.
Oh, it definitely did now, too, because when I hear tracks like The Code now, too, I'm like, the evolution, like, that's what I love about it.
Thank you, man. Thank you.
Hey, anytime, Jon Connor, like you said, like, because like we're here to see your growth now too, and when you were getting ready to release it now too, like, because we don't know from an artist now too, you created this beautiful body of work. Were you nervous when you were like ready to drop it because people were waiting for you? Or were you pretty confident? You're like, they're waiting.
I was more anxious than anything, just because I wanted to get over this whole hump of the comeback project.
Yeah, it's like what comeback? He never left.
Yeah, you know what I mean? So I just wanted to get it out because it's like I'm ready to just get back to Jon Connor releasing music being a normality again instead of oh my God, when is it gonna happen? It's like I want to just get back to consistently giving people music, man. And for me, the way I look at like criticism and things like that, I don't really feel nervous or anything about those type of things because I believe like, you know, what I'm doing is art.
Oh
Everybody's not
yes.
gonna everybody's not gonna love what I do, just like everybody's not gonna hate what I do. You find the people that enjoy what you do and you cater to them, and you know you feed them. Is you cater to your supporters and not your critics. You know, people are
Oh
always gonna be there to criticize anything anybody does. So it's like, why pay that any mind? I don't pay criticism any mind whatsoever. I make art that I appreciate, that I like, and hopefully there's people that share my taste palette of music, and we gonna rock together. And I'm gonna keep giving y'all music until y'all sick of it, man.
because like I love how you put that into perspective now too. Because I remember like waiting for like I don't know if you could see. I remember waiting for these mixtapes to come online now too. This is hard to find now, people now too. If you can see that now too. Back the Kanye West when they took it down, but
Yeah.
I remember waiting for those mixtapes to drop, and I like even after that one, like the Biggie one now too. I was so excited. So when you come back, when you just said releasing music on the regular now too, like I think like the SOS now too, are people gonna be like, okay, so he's coming back, but he's more established and better now too because he got over that hump now. Oh, he's you even said a thank you now. This is Connor off the shelf, like. Yo, that thank you, that's what I love because it felt like you had a lot of things inside that you had to get out. So that album, sorry, that project must have been very therapeutic for you.
It definitely was to be able to say those things because I think sometimes, you know, people forget that artists are human too. The same things that people have casual conversation about. You got to think the artist is living it. You know, when people are, well, where's Jon Connor? Or when is this gonna happen? Why didn't this happen? It's like that's my life. I'm living it.
Yeah.
So it's like nobody know it better than me. Like you know what I'm saying? Nobody, as frustrated as a fan might have been, nobody was more frustrated than me or anxious than me. Nobody wanted me to come back more than me. Like you know what I'm saying? So so it was cool to be able to be like, yo, I feel you. Like if you missed me, I missed you too.
You even say it too.
Yeah, man, absolutely. And that's why it was so important for me to just continuously say thank you throughout the project for people like you that's been rocking with me this whole time. And it's like, man, because like you said, we live in such an era of microwave music and people are here today going tomorrow. So for there to be a fan base of people that have stuck with me through everything, it's like, I can't say thank you enough, man.
And like for you to like, I remember you said in a past interview now too, you used to get in trouble for Rodman forgot about Dre. And then like years later, you're on Compton. So like that must like, do you think about times like that now too? And it's like, wow, like I really came a long way.
Absolutely. I encourage people to understand the power of their own manifestation. The power of the tongue is a real thing. What you think about, you will become. And so it's like if you hold on to that image in your head of what you want to be and where you want to end up, it will manifest, man. And so I'm just an example, man, of manifestation, man.
Wow. See, and you put it in your music now too. Like you don't just like go on social media and like talk. Like you put it in your music.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. Anything I could do to help, man. That's what we are here to do. That's what all of this boils down to is we're all supposed to inspire each other to reach whatever goals or aspirations we all have. For me, it was music. So through me manifesting my goals in music, maybe that'll help somebody else and keep them motivated in whatever their goals are and whatever they do.
Oh, so you released a lot of projects that had to have physical copies back then. Do you have a copy of each of your projects that you just keep?
Yeah, I do. I got a copy of each of them, and it'll be physical copies of SOS coming too, and Ace Cabana and all of that. So we're gonna have physical copies of all of that.
See, that was my next question now too, because I noticed like physicals are making a comeback now too.
Yeah, definitely. I definitely encourage people to have physical copies. Because what if, knock on wood, one day the internet shut down, everything's gone.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it's always good to have a good old fashioned CD, man, or something, or some vinyl, man.
Man, hey, just for the gamers out there now too, don't put CDs in your PlayStation 4 because for some reason they don't play CDs. Just for a fun fact for the people out there.
Really, I didn't know that. Thank you for that.
Oh yeah, trust me. I tried to play HAS SOME Unreleased and said couldn't read disc, and I was like, oh, okay, you can play Blu-ray. So I have two more questions for you, Jon Connor, and I'll let you go now too. Can you tell me about Nick's Records?
Nick's Records and Tapes?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, man, that's where, oh man, Nick's, I miss Nick's. I drove by there the other day, man. It's all boarded up now.
Oh, it's not around anymore?
Nah, man, that's my childhood right there. That's where I used to ask my mama could I have $25 so I could go buy CDs, man. Every time the new No Limit shit dropped, it was a spot. It's on the street called Pasadena in Flint. Nick's Records and Tapes, man. It was a little gray building. It's still standing, but it's boarded up. And the owner, Nick, he used to always say to me, "Does your mother know you're coming in here and spending all this money?" It was just cool, man. Nick was such a cool dude, man. Bless him if he's still alive, man. Bless him, man.
Right, because like nowadays now too, like those type of memories that you just said right now too, most kids won't get to experience going to a store and buying a CD like that.
Right. Absolutely, man. That's such a sad thing because I think that's a part of the experience. You know what I'm saying? For me, that's why I fell in love with music. You know, the experience of going and buying a CD, reading the credits on the back of the CD and in the booklet. I used to look at the artwork and listen to the CD at the same time because that would help me connect more with the music. You know what I mean? So it was like, I should hope kids still want to do that today because that's the beautiful part of all of this, man.
Well, yeah, too. Like, and even like seeing like the credits now too, because sometimes like on the back it won't say who's who. So when you open the books now, too, I remember finding Zero on a ton of Scarface. I'm like, wow, Zero's on these courses.
Right, absolutely.
Shout out to Zero right there. He's good people right there.
Absolutely.
So Mr. Connor now too. This is a question that I ask all my guests now. Since I started this podcast, I asked this question to Kid Crooked, MOP. Master Ace, MC Shan, Raz Kaz, Kid Vicious, Ali Vegas, Terminology, a lot of people you worked with. But in your DMs, I wanted you to be the very first guest for this podcast now too. So I wanted to hear this question for a long time from you.
Absolutely.
I wanted to ask you this question for a long time. Do you have any words for somebody in a dark place trying to see the light?
Absolutely. I would say, first of all, light and darkness, they play off of each other. One can't exist without the other. In contrast, you know what I'm saying? To appreciate light, you have to go through darkness. To appreciate your highs, you have to experience lows. Or how else would you know to appreciate the highs unless you've experienced the lows? And the darkness, you know what I'm saying? It's only there to prepare you for those days of light again, is what I would say to someone. I would say, don't believe that you'll be stuck in either forever, because you won't. If you're walking on this earth and you're living every day, and you wake up every day and you're able to breathe air in your lungs, it's like those dark moments, take them as lessons. You know what I'm saying? Just knowing that you're being prepared for something greater. You're being prepared for that light to shine on you again, but you got to make it through those dark times, and it's going to be okay. That's what I would say to somebody is, it's going to be okay. The darkness won't last forever. The light doesn't last forever. So it's the balance of both of it. But when you start to understand that both play into each other ultimately to make you a better person, I think that it makes life just a little bit easier. When you stop dreading the darkness or looking at it as a dreaded thing, when you just take it as a part of a process, I think that's what makes life a little bit easier, when you appreciate both equally for what they're for.
And because there is no light without darkness now too.
Absolutely, man.
See, the reason why I asked that question now too is because like during my time doing this now too, I noticed that before all this, I wanted to hear interviews with motivational now too. So you have a lot of fans out there, so maybe one of your fans out there can hear what you just said and can help them get through another day now too. Because at the end of the day, we're human. Sometimes we just need to hear that.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for asking that. And I hope I verbalized it in a way that it could be received for someone that's going through a dark moment right now, that they know it is going to be okay, man.
They just have to have hope. That's all you can do.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely, man.
You're a very beautiful soul, Mr. Freeman, right now. So,
as are you, man. Thank you, man.
Is there anything you want to plug in before I let you go?
Just anybody listening to this, make sure you go check out SOS Volume 1 right now. And Ace Cabana is the next project dropping from the label All Varsity Music Group. We have the docu-series, The Road to Legendary, that tells my entire story. We're re-releasing the Underground tape Season 2, While You Were Sleeping, The Calling Part 1, The Calling Part 2. And after that, the All Varsity Music compilation and SOS. Yeah, and SOS Part 2, man. So it's about to be super duper busy, and let's just have some fun. And when everything opens back up, I will be in a city near you, man.
That's awesome to hear now, too, that you're back in full gear now, too. For anybody watching this now, too, I just want everybody to know that your dreams can come true right now, too, because I listened to this man forever now, too, so it's still kind of like, I'm like, wow, this is Jon Connor in front of me.
It's love, man. It's love, bro.
So with that being said, this is another classic interview. I know I say classic a lot, but it's not a classic interview from the Desk Glow featuring the Humbled Soul, Jon Connor.
Much love, man.